Anna held radio traffic just for that call, and we waited for what seemed an eternity as Jason went into the house. 1303 dispatch, I nearly made me jump out of my seat, my nerves on end. Get a med rolling. She's cut her arms pretty bad. Within 5 minutes, our med unit was rolling. Jason and Trevor, his backup, ended up chaptering Marge. They came up before Jason transferred her to the mental hospital after getting medical clearance and explained everything that happened. Apparently, Marge was tripping out on drugs, my first suspicion, and decided to cut her arms with razor blades. She'd also trashed her apartment in her drug stupor, which would explain the crashing around I heard. "But what about the tapping?" I asked. "I heard the tapping she was talking about." "I don't know anything about that," Jason said with a shrug, "but it was probably something she was doing that she didn't realize she was doing." "Yeah, you're probably right," I said, but I still couldn't shake the bad feeling. "It's sad, honestly," Jason said, retrieving the papers off the printer that he was printing. "She's just fried from drugs. She's just crazy now." I glanced out the dispatch window to the lobby, where Trevor was sitting with Marge. She sat with her head hanging down and her arms in bandages. Seeing someone hopped up on drugs was always a little disturbing to me. As if she knew I was looking at her, she lifted her head and her eyes grew wide, as if she was about to be hit by a bus, and she pointed at me, letting out another piercing cry. Trevor stood up as she did, putting himself between me and her inadvertently. I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't pointing at me, but rather behind me. I told myself it was dumb, but why was it that I couldn't look over my shoulder? Jason flew out the door with the paperwork he needed, and both struggled down to the front with her to load her up in the squad. In 2 days, hospital staff would find Marge dead in her room, her head somehow twisted unnaturally. Her death would never have a full explanation. Finally, after taking a deep breath, I turned around. There was nothing there. I let out a breath that I didn't realize I was holding, and then laughed at myself. Of course there was nothing there. The rest of the shift went by smoothly, the whole 20 minutes we had left. When we finally left that night, I couldn't wait to go home and go to bed. That call had really rattled me and left me with a headache. I got back to my little apartment, greeted by my little white cat. After giving her more food, I took off my uniform and hung it up in the closet, making sure to close the doors.